We're joined now by our baseball insider, Steve Phillips. And Steve, Joey Votto says goodbye to baseball. What was your reaction to the news?
Well, it's not a surprise. Like, we knew this day was coming. His performance had deteriorated over the last couple of years. His body was giving out on him. Nobody really wanted to sign him this offseason until the Blue Jays gave a shot at a minor league deal. And then the injury really set him back all year. And so we knew this day was coming, whether it was going to be today or not. And so, yeah, there's a level of disappointment, but also a day to celebrate what is an extraordinary career for one of the most unique players in the game, right? A guy who was a big personality, but also a tremendous performer on the field. And so baseball is less today without Joey Votto with the announcement of his retirement, for sure.
I love how you use the word unique because, I mean, at one time, Votto used to have a reputation for being a little prickly. Maybe he was just so misunderstood because he was charming, even funny in the back half of his career. What insight can you give us about Votto, both the player and the person?
Right. So as the player, unique in that you had the tremendous plate discipline, the ability to recognize the ball from a strike, fastball from breaking ball, and led the league in on-base percentage 8 times, and just really was a guy that worked the walks, worked counts, and really made pitchers battle every single time he went to the plate. Unique in that way. Gold Glove first baseman one season. You know, he's a guy that just had put up the extraordinary numbers, a 144 OPS plus, meaning 44% better than average over the course of his career. Those are Hall of Fame numbers, no question about that. But the player, the person, he was a bit prickly early on. I think, honestly, maturity came along, perspective came along, and he recognized the impact that he could make. His words mattered. People cared about what he said. You know, every time he opened his mouth, I was dying to hear what he's going to say, leaning in, trying to figure out what he's going to make me laugh. Sometimes he could make you cry. Like, he made fans cry, giving gifts to kids in the stands and you know, really celebrating the fans that were there to support him. So, you know, he just really was a different player. What he talked differently, what he talked about hitting, it was different than other guys in the way that he looked at it. And he always was very honest about in evaluating himself and where he was in his career until the very end when he finally said, I'm just not very good anymore.
Well, any conversation about the greatest Canadian baseball players obviously includes Hall of Famers Ferguson Jenkins and then Larry Walker. Does Joey Votto belong on that very short list of the greatest Canadian ball players?
I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, Ferguson Jenkins, the best pitcher ever, and Larry Walker has been the best position player ever. Now, Joey Votto is going to be right in that conversation. I mentioned OPS plus. That's on base plus slugging percentage, and it's balanced and neutralized the stadiums. Joey Votto's 144, Larry Walker 141. So Votto has the edge in that way. And so I think that when you look at it overall, he's going to be right in that class of the top 3 of all time of Canadian baseball players.
Which begs the question, speaking of the Hall, do you think that Joey Votto does end up in Cooperstown one day?
I don't think there's any question about it. I don't. I think that when you really break down the numbers, I mean, he's a guy, he had a 294 batting average and then over 400 on base percentage and over 500 slugging percentage, almost making that 300, 400, 500 category of the slash line. Well, those guys always get in. Larry Walker, one of those guys. And so I think Votto is absolutely a Hall of Fame player. And I think the way that he interacted with the media toward the end, if there were any that are on the bubble, I think he had pushed them over the top with that personality. And I think that 5 years from now, we will be celebrating Joey Votto in Cooperstown, New York, in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
And that's exactly what it will be, because Votto eligible for the Hall of Fame in 5 years' time. Thank you very much. He is our baseball insider, Steve Phillips.